So the block is merely to give me leverage in the transition. I'm going to take the blanket and I'm going to make it so that it rests beside me. And I happen to have a wooden floor, but your blanket will give you the opportunity to come and go regardless. So the leg underneath me is thigh perpendicular to the floor. The foot is behind, and I'm relaxing the shin. If that is not comfortable, then please use the blanket to support the knee and the back ankle. It can all be done that way. And if I had the blanket underneath my foot that is at the floor, otherwise I have to work in a small progressive way. Regardless, I want to slide out. I want to slide out. So I'm shifting what's happening in this thigh, and I want to slide in. I want to pull in. And I'm not going terribly far, so this is part of what happens in Parihasana, engaged pose. And I want to pull back in. All right, let's do it a third time. We did a lot of work like that from standing. If you happen to have carpet, or if you're only using your sticky mat, or if you don't have yet another way to make it more smooth, it's still doable. You just have to move incrementally, still that intention. And now, arms up, similar to what happens in Warrior One. Press the shin back, lengthen the tailbone down, and come into the side body stretch. I want you first to affect the bottom arm. It can come and rest here at the leg. And the top arm is reaching, so we have this great ribcage expansion. But while you keep this constant, pay attention to the bottom foot. Can you demi-point the foot? Can you reach into the toe mound? That changes the whole dynamic here in the pelvis. Come right back. Do it again. Demi-point, sink into it. And so this is work for the calf and the Achilles. And if by chance, in this third repetition, you get all the way with the sole of the foot to the floor, that is a tall order, and then come back. So there are many ways that we can work with this. But today, we had a chance to warm up the ankle and give it its challenge. Hands at the floor. Before we do the other side, I want you to practice yet a different hand strengthening exercise. We start from the first position, and we imagine that we are gathering up the yoga mat. So we're going to slide to the fingertips and then press out. And we could use a cloth, and it would be so smooth. But I purposefully want us to use the mat because of the sticky aspect. So we have to really pull against the sticky mat, creating the resistance, push into the sticky mat, creating the resistance. Other side. Pulling in, pressing out. You might not like this one, this is new. Lots of relationships. Look at your hands, try to maintain as much of the symmetry. Sometimes certain fingers want to do more. And that's enough. Let's come all the way up and get to the other side. Again, my block gives me that leverage to get adjusted. I want to start with the thigh perpendicular. Take the arms wide and slide out. And then slide in. So I'm sliding that heel out and in. It would be easy if you set the blanket underneath the heel if you happen to have the wooden floor or a small cloth. And it would give you more of a challenge actually. But once you've done those repetitions, come on over. Let the bottom hand use the leg. Continue this expansion of the rib cage. 3 repetitions of this dorsiflexion from the foot. I want to come into a demi-point and come back. It's a lot of work for the heel. and again. Demi point and come back. And one more time, please. Notice how it talks to the upper ribs. And enough. All right, our last inversion challenge for the sake of shoulders now has to do with that plank, the downward dog, and one place in between. So I'm going to take away my blanket and my block. And we're going to start in a simple downward facing dog. Let your fingers stretch wide. Come into your plank to determine the length of your pose. Come into your pose, enjoy this place. Roll the shoulders open. When you are back here into this downward facing dog, if you had to leave 3 points in charge of how you bear through your hands, it is the heels of the hands and the base of the index finger. Right? From this position, bend in one elbow, and if you can make it all the way to the floor, do. And then bend in the other elbow. We were just here earlier. Press the elbows out, keep the hands on, and then straighten the first arm and the other arm. Find your way back. Remember the hands work. Take a break, lift your head, look ahead, and come over your wrists with your shoulders. Let's do it again. Come on back. Start with the other side now, initiate from over there, and come on down. And press the elbows, forearms away from each other. Press your head slightly back. Remember the work of the hands, the points of the fingers, and contact the doming of the palms. And one elbow up, and then the other. Enjoy the elongation. Come over your hands with your shoulders. One last time. And the difference now is to notice if you are able to very slowly come down simultaneously. Down. And if counting on the sticky mat now, you can press and come simultaneously up. Wow. Lastly, lift your head, look ahead, bend in the knees, come to that almost seated position in that powerful pose, and then come on down. Ooh, that was a lot. Take a tall block, park your hands on it, reach the arms away, keep the neck neutral, let the forearms, shoulders bear lightly down. It's a lot of sneaky work in that. So now we are going to give the wrists and shoulders a little bit of a break. We're going to counterbalance cow face pose with eagle. We'll do that while resting on our back. And as you make your way to resting on your back, if you need your blanket for underneath your head, please do it. And bringing the knees to you, give them a hug. So if you will now, cross the right knee over the left. And decide for yourself if you are able to comfortably wrap the legs. Since we are not bearing weight through the legs, it might seem more accessible. If the right knee is on top, it's either that the elbows and hands are together or that the left elbow is on top. So here we are erect. And we're going to create this curling action, this abdominal curl to lift the head, bring the elbows toward the knees, and then to rest. One more time. Rock the elbows to the right, take the knees to the left. Rock the elbows to the left, take the knees to the right. And come back to center. Let's let the other side catch up. Left knee on top. Legs wrapped is an option. Right elbow on top. Hands, elbows together is the option. these two curls. Letting the knees and the arms travel away from each other just a little bit. No hyperextension of the back though. And then elbows to one side, knees opposite. Elbows to the other side, knees rock opposite. Come back to center and please do this. Plant your feet. Rest your elbows. Bear into the floor with the elbows, the fingers point up actively. And lift your chin so that you are rolling closer to the top of the head and begin to lift the chest. And keep lifting the chin, coming closer to the crown of your head. Everyone will get to their own place. So the pelvis stays on the floor and the upper rib cage lifts. Bring your feet to the midline, take one leg long, reach into the inner heel, slide that heel in, take the other leg long. Enjoy this place that shows you you are strong. Come on in and rest. Bring your knees in and give them a hug. So we want a wonderful, resting, supported variation of that baby fish. If you'll roll to the side and find using both blocks now. I am very short-waisted, so I usually start with my block low. And I take my second block and keep it low. And if this is still new in your body, that might be a kinder place to start. As we're supporting a back bend, you can decide if you're going to turn the blocks medium or turn the one underneath your rib cage to be the higher one. Your neck must be supported in a way that serves you. So you could reserve the blanket and add it to the block if you need an extra little bit of height without undoing the whole pose. When you come down, the low block that's closer to you is going to be like a shelf for your rib cage. And the shoulder blades particularly rest on that shelf. As you're ready to rest your head, the second block needs to support a comfortable neck in this baby fish. So we have the very similar shape. And as your elbows, forearms rest at the floor, I'm encouraging you to use palms up. Since the shoulder blades are supported, you should not be straining in your lower back, and you might find that straightening the legs is manageable and with ease. So in the final pose, we would reach into the legs. Here you would want to reach lightly into your legs. And then begin to relax. Over time with practice, you can take the center block higher, you can drop the head lower, but your neck needs your attention. There must be a comfortable extension. And just breathe, close your eyes. Bring your focus to the expansion of the lower rib cage. The upper rib cage is held now. Let the belly drop on the exhalation. And then let the rest of the breath goes. Let the belly rise first on the inhalation. Feel the chest. Let the belly drop first on the exhalation. Let the rest of the breath go. Keep that your breathing pattern. As you slide the feet in, you can use the arms to lift and remove the blocks. But we want to return and rest in Shavasana and remember that same breathing exercise. So as you breathe into the belly, letting the belly rise, filling the chest, drop the belly first, and then release the breath from the rib cage. You are in fact expanding the lower ribcage area, but more specifically, you are releasing the tension held by fascia between the diaphragm and the ribcage. We're creating space in that area as well as the relationship between the muscles of respiration and the core engagement muscles. This wonderful pranayama keeps your mind on your body. It gives your racing mind a break. But it is a wonderful strengthening of the muscles of respiration. You're welcome to stay here as long as you wish. You are ready to come out of it, bring your knees to your chest and roll to your side, press up and sit. Returning to Sukhasana, this happy, easy pose. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for your presence, your open mind. Namaste.